morning. And it's not a very nice morning here in New York City. However, it's pretty much in line with what we expect for a normal January day. And what do we got? We've got two different worlds. We've got the world of the internet and crowdsourcing and technology that determines our lives pretty much close to the speed of light. And then on the other hand, we've got Congress and the Neanderthals, like McCarthy, doesn't believe that his caucus really doesn't want him. And they don't. Took 130 ballots 100 years ago to elect a Speaker of the House. Right now, it looks like it's going to take a while. Will this one be the magic number? 10? I don't know. But you'd think with all the problems that we have in our world, whether it's right here in America or our foreign policy overseas, we'd want to have a functioning Congress. We may need an entirely new cabinet member for information technology. I don't know whether it's going to be standalone or part of defense. But if you look at how we're conducting war today, we're conducting it based on information technology. One of the reasons we're making headways in the Ukraine is because we were able, by crowdsourcing and by our own technology and defense, to look at what was happening on Ukraine's borders and be prepared. We got ahead of Putin's lies. And it looks like that's what we're going to do for everything. You got to get ahead of the lies. You can't let people like George Santos run for Congress and actually win. It doesn't set a good example for our kids or anyone else. It just says that if you lie a lot, you can get what you want. And that's really not the message of the world. The world is, you tell the truth and you get what you want. Sure, you can be crafty, but you still got to tell the truth. We don't need people in Congress who think lying is better than telling the truth, because we got real problems. Right here in New York City, Uber was on strike. They may still be, and they deserve to be on strike. The guys who work for Uber are not making the big bucks. The corporation is, and that corporation should be paying taxes and looking at their employees as employees, not contractors. On Monday, if there's no contract for nurses and no standard of care and no correction of the understaffing that they're suffering, the nurses will be on strike in New York City. All across the nation, folks are going on strike. Delta employees are going on strike because they feel that they're being abused in their jobs. Everywhere you look, people are understaffing. And it's interesting, thank goodness, the inflation numbers have come down. Well, I would expect it. There's a lot of unemployment out there. Nobody's counting it, but it's there. Amazon, the big tech companies, well, yeah, they were bloated. Not bloated where maybe we'd like to see content analyzed, but they're bloated, and so they're letting go of hundreds of thousands of employees. Can't get mortgages, so the construction industry is once again dead in the water. Can't get a lot of things, and personal loans are ballooning. It's not labor that causes inflation. It certainly is the big corporations. As we mentioned last week, when Starwood Properties can raise rents up to 52%. That's inflationary. When the poor guy or woman working in a shop or working on a line or working for one of these major corporations has seen stagnant wages for 10 plus years, when they finally get a raise, that's not inflation. It's the same thing when they gave us who have Medicare a raise. That's really just giving us back the $300 that they took away to begin with when the pandemic started. So labor deserves a raise. The folks on Medicare deserve a raise. And I understand now that FICA is about 12.4% of everyone's salary. Well, and they've raised the cap on income to $160,000. Seems to me, if we really want to bring in the bucks, and we need the bucks in order to do infrastructure projects, there should be no cap on the income that people make. You make 865 million bucks, you pay 12.4% into FICA, just like those of us in the middle class do. Let's be fair. That's all I'm asking for, is fair and equitable treatment, whether it's on income. And when we're talking about income and you had to come up with ranges, don't say the range is 0 to 2 million. Give me a break. Let's have it in 30 or 40,000 increments. That's enough between salary ranges and positions. But let's get back to what's happening with the Speaker of the House and McCarthy. If the Democrats and the Republicans can't get together, you really do need an outside person, someone who will indeed represent the people of United States. We got too many problems out there still. They're talking about glaciers melting before the end of the century. We're talking about 10 degrees raise in temperatures across all of Europe. No wonder Putin is tearing his hair out and wanted a 2-hour ceasefire in Ukraine. Partly it's a joke. Who knows why he wanted a ceasefire that doesn't work. But in any case, if I were Putin, I'd be upset because global warming has taken hold and the Europeans are no longer dependent on his gas or oil. So that's another problem. And we got problems right here in America when we're looking at the Colorado River and we're looking at the bomb cyclones that are taking people's lives and the flooding and the droughts and the snow and the ice, and none of it in sync so that we can survive and use our natural resources. No siree, with all these problems, we can't afford a dysfunctional Congress. Which reminds me of something that they can be doing. I just noticed that there's a Inflation Reduction Act that gives people a rebate for gas stoves. I didn't realize it, but gas and nitrous oxide produced from it in your home is one of the leading causes of asthma for kids. Convection ovens now get a rebate. You want to purchase a convection oven? It's electric. It is an incredible instrument. It heats food evenly. I have it in a small bake oven. It really works and does wonders, and major chefs love it. We can get $849 in a rebate towards an oven, a new oven that doesn't use gas and doesn't hurt our kids by giving them asthma. We got enough problems when we go outside, let alone having more problems indoors. So my feeling is we're going to need a new cabinet post for information technology, for crowdsourcing. Our government is going to want to know what are the latest in AI so that they can use it to hook up to our satellites and protect our nation. This all is coming down the pike. It means that decision making can be made in 13 minutes or 13 seconds, not 13 hours like it was 20 years ago when, unfortunately, we were hit by the terrorists who destroyed the World Trade Centers. It took us 13 hours to actually formulate a plan. We can't afford that now. We need to be able to utilize big data to protect ourselves and make our world better. Remember, big data works two ways. Sure, it can harm us, but it can also help us cite our topography, look at our cities, figure out where we're putting new housing or demolishing old, and how we're keeping people safe. Big data can actually work for us, and we needed to do that as soon as possible. I absolutely see that as another member of the cabinet, the president's cabinet. So we got problems, well, we got solutions, right? You don't want to use gas? We got convection ovens. We need to be able to heat and cool our homes. We got heat pumps. They're using it all over Europe. And we've never, ever implemented all the solar and wind that we could, nor have we downsized our nuclear facilities or invested heavily in hydrogen. So there's a lot to be done, folks. We don't need to be wondering about people's personal egos and how they're going to survive in Congress if they're not Speaker of the House. We need to be able to come together and figure out what's important so all Americans can survive and thrive. And not only that, it seems like America and Americans are also important on the world stage. If we want most countries to be democracies, and we don't want to have an illiberal order that goes and takes other countries for their own, whether they're entitled or not, we got to be powerful. We've got to have that big stick that Teddy Roosevelt carried all the time. We need it because when we lead, others follow. Even Japan is helping out in Ukraine. So you've got the entire European Union, you've got Great Britain, you've got us, and we're all helping Ukraine. It works. Our world works better when we're all focused on helping each other instead of our mutual destruction. So that goes for Congress too. We got problems. We got solutions. And if internet and crowdsourcing works so quickly, we don't have to be able to turn that ship of state around slowly. We can actually pick up the pace a little and make life easier for all of us now. That's why I'm hopeful. 2023 is going to be a good year. And hey, The Fed's already noticing. Inflation is down and the market went up. No reason when we start implementing a lot of that infrastructure, we can't keep the party going a little longer. So God bless you. Thank you for listening. See you next week. I like it when America leads. That's what we should be doing. Take care, everyone, and have a lovely day.